Western Spring Television. Ours it is.
It's a new day, it's a new beginning, it's another beautiful day. Wednesday, it is the 20th of March, 2024. We are indeed grateful to God for life. You're welcome on board to another edition of Morning Spring right here on Western Spring Television. And this is where we'll talk about everything crucial, critical about our country and even about countries outside of here. My name is Evelyn Ohiola, and we are super glad to have you on board. Femi is here. Good morning, Femi.
Yes, I am. Good morning, Evelyn. Thank you. Good morning, Nigeria. Good morning, world. It's another time. We thank God for life. Femi Ojo is my name. And you know what we do on the program already here on your station of choice, where we say it as it is. Western Spring Television on channel 190 DTT. And also on YouTube. We are live right now. Western Spring Television on YouTube, on other social media platforms, on Instagram, on YouTube, just like I said, on Facebook, on X. Good morning.
All right, because we're pressed for time, we'll just go straight. You know, we always have the newspaper review before the conversation segment, so we are just going to go right into the newspaper review session, but that will be after this break. Stay with us. All right, welcome back. It's the newspaper session, and to help us out with some analysis this morning, Nnamdi Alabi is joining us. How are you doing today?
Very well, and you?
So good to see your face again.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
For being here.
All right, so we get right into it. Daily Trust, starting with Daily Trust this beautiful Wednesday morning. Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, 4 others spend 28.3 billion on Ramadan feeding. Daily Trust newspaper for today. Kano, Katsina, Sokoto, 4 others spend 28.3 billion naira on Ramadan feeding. Cleric calls for accountability. And still on Daily Trust newspaper for today, children executed by Israeli forces in raid on Gaza hospital, that's outside of the country. Dara emerges Zenith Bank's first female GMD. Congratulations to her. INEC laments rising costs, disruptions from acrimonious primaries, waivers for defectors. And bottom strip there of the Daily Trust newspaper for today, Akpabio under fire for linking soldiers' killings to mercenaries. That's that. Okay, that's the much we can take from here. And let's just move over to Nnamdi Alabi. Nnamdi, taking you on that last one I read out, the Senate President saying the killing of the soldiers was not really done by the youth of that community, but by mercenaries. I just wanted your take on that.
Well, by saying mercenaries, it might mean a couple of things, but in the conventional way, when you talk about mercenaries, it means, maybe some other guys from, there are some guys that specialize in this kind of operations, and in some states,
war business.
Yeah, war business. In some states, they are legalized. We have mercenaries from South Africa. We have them in Russia and some other places. I'm not sure that is what really happened. For me, my conclusion, because when the news first came out and they said angry youth, again, I'm saying Nigerian army are not that poorly trained. That just random youth will undo 6 and bring 16 of our men down like that. It is not possible. I feel this is an operation.
Without any loss on the other side.
Without any loss on the other side. It shows this is a well planned out operation by a particular set of militants. South region is known to house a couple of militant groups. So I believe these guys were the ones. Right. What the Senate President means by the word mercenaries is what I'm not sure of. Maybe he doesn't know the right word to use for the militants. That's why he mentioned mercenaries. I don't believe they are mercenaries from outside. I believe they are militants.
Nnamdi, you are talking about a two-term governor, a minister, two-term.
Oh, fantastic.
A Senate president, not knowing the right word to use. Because what he said is this, beyond the headline, he said most likely they are mercenaries outside the country.
The issue is, yes.
So when Akpabio speaks, he knows what he's saying.
Well, you may say he knows what he's saying.
What I mean is, by saying he knows what he's saying is aware of what he's saying.
No, he's not always aware.
So if it is true or not, is another thing.
In the last 2 or 3 weeks, this man has said something that we found out not to be true. So he was a two-time governor, that he has been a minister, that he is a Senate president doesn't mean he knows what he's saying.
I'm only putting a context that
such
a caliber of a person should be aware of the implications of his words.
He should be aware in the real sense,
I'm saying, yeah.
But he's not always aware. You saw what he did at the funeral of the late Access Holding CEO. You saw what he did there. Does that show someone that is aware? You saw what he said about government releasing 30 billion to states. When governors began to come and say the unconfirmed report, as the Senate president of the country, you should not be throwing out unconfirmed report. What were the investigations he conducted to confirm that this act was perpetrated by mercenaries?
Do you think it's too early?
It is too early, and it's an indictment on us that mercenaries will come to on our soil and kill our soldiers. It's an act of war.
Ladeji, do you think there is a political coloration to this? They say it's communal crisis. That was where it stemmed out from. But then, do you think there is a bit of political coloration? Because some people have pointed to the fact that the governor of the state, Oborowori, really didn't, attend to that issue as issued as the chief security officer of that state.
Well, in reality, Evelyn, chief security officer of the state is on papers. He doesn't control any of the military base or any of the police in this. As a matter of fact, police would, even if you want the police to do something, they will still take order from Abuja. So he's the chief security officer of the state just on papers. But in reality, maybe when the issue started, it might not be politically motivated. But I think already politicians are adding, political coloration to it. And it is sad that that's the way we find ourselves in this country. We are talking about 16 lives of well-trained army. In this case, we should not be playing politics with their lives.
All right.
At this stage, we should be talking about, okay, we are working on getting... I'm very, very personal about getting the perpetrators, and in fact give them a televised punishment. Let the whole nation, let militants in every corners of Nigeria know that you don't just joke like that.
With the Nigerian
when you
military.
do things like this, you get punished for it.
All right, thank you so much, Ladeji, for your submission.
All right, interesting days ahead, especially talking about this. Many questions are being raised. At least I've listened to opinion molders ask different questions like, how come the Nigerian military went only to Okwama? How about Okolova? Because these are two communities fighting. And there are some reports from Okwama said there are casualties on the civilian side at that same event as well. That how come the people are not talking about the civilians? They're only talking about the army. Because some say a meeting was held, and it was in that meeting they wanted to whisk away one of their leaders, and the youth said no. And then the violence started. Because, so for some persons, I agree completely when you said it's a bit early for the Senate president to be saying this. An investigation is on. Can everybody just calm down? So that we don't preempt.
Let the investigation get concluded. Then we can say,
so we don't preempt.
Truly they are mercenaries, truly they are militants.
Yeah. This is one that is becoming unbecoming of the Senate president, throwing words, especially in deep and sensitive issues. We go to the Vanguard. The Vanguard is next. Vanguard newspaper. Okay, and Delta killings. It's sad that a state, is being colorized as being at the center of these, but it is what it is. Delta killings. 3 suspects nabbed, moved to army headquarters in Asaba. By the way, there are reports of reprisal attack, buildings being razed, people being killed as well. Many riders there try to be fast as possible. Senate probes killing, calls for recruitment of more policemen. Obrewari briefs Tinubu, says there won't be further attacks. The governor was at the villa yesterday to see the president. Wonder why. Note situation under control. Clark condemns killings. Urges military to exercise restraint. Investigate Delta killings. Rep starts military. Flags flown at half-mast as military begins three-day mourning for slain soldiers. Civil society groups call for unbiased investigation. RULAC appeals against revenge. Indiscriminate actions on innocent civilians. Military moves swamp budgies to Okwama. And the picture there, as ASAV Burial Committee visit Akpabio, that's the famous elder statesman that passed on. And then the committee, they are here to visit the number 3. Moving on, Edo Assembly directs CJ to set up committee on Shaibu's impeachment. We didn't renovate government house with 18 billion naira at Deleke. So with how much? Shiroro Solar Generating Company, new phase in energy transition plan. And top strip, Edo Guba, only 6 parties have filed nominations. That's coming from INEC. Urges parties to stop granting unnecessary waivers to defectors. Why court refused Nnamdi Kanu'S fresh request for bail? And the Zenith Bank appoints Adora Umerji, first GMD CEO, and that video that has gone viral of when her staff, were congratulating her. It was quite a good scene to behold, celebrating her as well. So, Ladeji Edo Assembly has directed the CJ to set up committee on Shaibu's impeachment. It's more like Shaibu must go in Edo with few months remaining, by the way.
It is sad. We saw the same thing play out in Ondo State, but for maybe the intervention of the president and some other things that happened in Ondo State that didn't actually make Aida Tiwa to be impeached. I think it is the assembly needs to understand that they, in democracy, they have their role to play. The executive have its role to play,
right,
and also the judiciary.
Right.
What we have seen in most cases is that the assemblies are like the puppet of the executive, because in most cases, executive controls the spending of. That's why they've been fighting for the independency of the assembly. Autonomy. Thank you. Let them spend their own money. Let them prepare how they spend their own money. You see, governor. That's why you see any governor that comes in. The next thing is they go all out to go and buy SUVs for these assembly members. Oh, I'm sending 13 commissioners to you. It is difficult, except anybody that offends the assembly members, that you will see that they will tell you this one is not past screening.
It happened in Lagos.
I am Professor Abayomi. Because he had issues. He had issues with Obasa. What was the name of the speaker? That's what played out. If you are in the good books of the executive, they will pass you through. We've seen people in the National Assembly that when they were nominated as minister, people sent complaint. A lot of them, this is what this guy did, this is what this guy did. And they passed them. It was only El Rufai because he was in good books of some of the guys. So it is sad that anytime anybody offends the governor, the assembly just begin because the only offense of Shuaibu in Edo State was because he came out to vie. And it is in his right.
But that's not what the petition says.
Apparently,
misconduct.
Femi, if Nigerian government, you saw the first petitions against Emefiele now. You saw it, funding of terrorism, doing this and that. And remember, I think it was Saudi government that released names of people funding terrorists from Nigeria. Nigerian government did not lift a finger. But when they want to try you, when you are in their bad books, they will list every. In fact, you have never seen a rifle before, they will tell you unlawful possession of arms. So it is just what it is. I think our assembly needs to understand that they have a job to do. You don't just play around.
But Shaibu himself is still part of the executive.
He's part of the executive, but you are in the bad book of the government. The governor was in it. It's a joint ticket, but the governor had more say. The governor is the one that appointed commissioners. The governor is the one that does most of the things. You are just like the subordinate.
So you think this will go through? It will be.
I don't know yet. I don't know how he knows how to. I don't know how he knows how to play his politics very well. It is sad. Don't forget. What was it? Obaseki. The time he was to be impeached during last election, he used his executive power. That was when he remembered that the House of Assembly was meant to be renovated.
All right.
So, but Shaibu doesn't have the power.
He doesn't have such power.
So, it is what it is.
Okay.
He pushes through in this.
So much for our democracy. By the way, That's what the Vanguard has for us this morning.
All right, we move over to Delhi Independent newspaper. On Delhi Independent newspaper, Delta killings, Oborowari meets Tinubu says situation now under control. Confirms unbattled community now deserted completely. Mercenaries may be behind killing of 16 soldiers, says Akpabio. Okwama community never killed any soldier. Reps member defending his community there and says soldiers have burnt down community, killed many people. And Delta killings, Nigeria at risk of losing sovereignty, says NNPP. That story is on page 7 of the Independent newspaper for today. And FRSC stops conveying of humans on trailers over death of 10 on Abuja highway. I think this is actually commendable. You know, when you see those trailers and those guys, the way they hang on the trailers, you're wondering, do they have another life stored up somewhere that they can pick up when something evil happens? Away from that impeachment, the Assembly directs CJ to set a panel on petition against Shaibu. IYC alleges military killed 40 Bayelsa community residents, condemns killings of 16 officers, soldiers in Delta community. Kyari calls for differentiated energy transition for Africa and Southeast violence. Count me out. I suspect some people in government, says Nnamdi. Kanu'S says he will restore peace in the region 2 minutes if released. And that video has gone viral, everywhere since it was since it filtered into public space yesterday. And since it's still Women's Month, congratulations to the Zenith Bank first female GMD CEO, Adara Umelji. And top corner, reps propose 5 months paid leave for mourning widows. And subsidy cut, Naira float increase federal states LG allocation to 10.143 trillion Naira in 2023. This is according to Naiti. Ladeji Alabi, this subsidy cut, the Naira float, we've continued to hear that the states are getting more, local governments are getting more allocation. In fact, there are some CSOs that are looking into the local government allocation, since this subsidy was removed and the flotation of the Naira. But as a country, as a people, how do you think we can continue to ask our leaders for what is rightfully ours? Because I saw some figures from some local governments in Osun State, and I'm wondering, this local government has this so number of billions and nothing is, nothing tangible when it comes to development is seen in this particular local government. What is actually wrong with us, and how do you think we can really call our leaders to be accountable for these monies that is actually our collective, our collective money?
Well, it's sad that in most cases we have, in some states, let me say in all the states, in some states we have governors that cannot think outside the box. A lot of them have kept the local government perpetually under their control because bulk of the money that comes from the national belongs to the local government. 2.3 billion here, 3 point something billion here for how many months, gather everything together. And it is sad that this governor goes out. At least we've been in this Nigeria for a while now. I know at a particular time, construction of roads in community belongs to the local government. Drilling of boreholes, sinking boreholes. I remember in my area, then it was a local government, a councillor from along that local government that sunk a borehole around our place. These are activities of councillors. They are the closest to the people.
Yes. Yeah.
Construction of street roads. But it's sad that now governors will construct 1 kilometer road. After inflating the price, they will still come out with canopies, bring out a musician and tell them we are commissioning this road. It's a shame. You will see governors, senators commissioning street lights. What do you call it? Solar lights. We saw in Lagos that one thing that looks ridiculous, they even put ribbon on it, and they will tell you they are commissioning these things. It's a shame, and it shows how these people doesn't know how to, make money on their own. So all they care about is there is money that is coming from Abuja. Let's just go and take. Yeah. But once we pay salaries, and it is sad that when people are meant to ask questions, you see people that will tell you, no, give these people time. Give these people time. Give these people time. No, he just got there. I still see people that make excuse for the federal government that it's just a year now. He got there just less than a year. Then give him time. And you see, you ask the questions. There are presidents that get to power in 3-4 months, and their countries have seen a change in what is happening. If we have successfully wasted a year out of 4 years, the next thing that will happen by 2025-26 is a politicking for the next election. So people need to ask questions. Don't let people. We've made these people see themselves as gods. Oh yes, this is our governor. He must be. No, they are not. They are paying them. Now these people are taxing you to pay themselves. And it is sad that after 4 or 8 years in government, these people still go about. They take pension. Have you ever seen an ex-governor or ex-deputy governor protest that their pensions are not paid? But every now and then, you go to where they do the verification for these old women and men. You see these people put in terrible condition because you want to verify them. Because of 7,000. Some people take pension as low as 7,000, 8,000 naira in this country, Nigeria. So it is a shame that we are in such a situation. But I feel citizens, civil society organizations need to keep pushing for more. The political class, they don't want to really be pushed. All they care about is, okay, this money is there for us. So you see the issue about budget padding. You've seen issues about local government not having their own autonomy. And you've seen issue in most cases now, states don't conduct elections again for local government office. They put their guys there. You go there, the money that comes to your local government, pay back to the state. And it's a shame.
All right. Thank you so much, Ladiji. That will be all for Daily Independent.
Right, that independently we've been able to look at a couple of newspapers today and to see what is really happening. And the reason why we do these is to make us have an understanding of what is going on. Detailed and authentic information about the state of our nation. And we won't stop doing that till we have a better and more functioning Nigeria, the one that we are proud of. We'll take a pause right now, and when we come back, we dive right into the matters. Very, very interesting one. Thank you, Ladiji, for your time.
It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, we'll be back.
Welcome back to Morning Spring. Right now, it is the conversation here where we talk about crucial and critical matters. And for today, we will be focusing, it's a laser focus on the trials of one man in the southeast called Nnamdi Kanu. He is the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB. Yesterday in court, a fresh bail application, which was, entered on February 26 by his lawyer, Aloy Ejimako, saying for the release or the bill, moving for the bill of the IPOB leader was refused. However, a federal high court in Abuja refused to grant him bail and, however, ordered an accelerated hearing of the 7-count terrorism charge preferred against Nnamdi Kanu. Let me just take us through, these issues since the time it started. After Nnamdi Kanu's extradition in 2022, in the year 2020, June 2020, the federal government filed terrorism charges against him. In April 2022, Iyako, that's the justice in charge, struck out 8 of the 15 counts in the charge. The remaining 7 counts were also quashed by the Court of Appeal on October 13, 2022, with the judge ordering Kanu's release. However, on October 28, 2022, The Court of Appeal granted a stay of execution on its verdict discharging Kanu after the federal government filed an appeal at the Supreme Court. On December 15, 2023, a 5-member panel of the Apex Court reversed the verdict of the appeal court and ordered Kanu to resume his trial before the Federal High Court. Moving a fresh bail application on February 26, his lawyer, Chimako, one of Kanu's lawyers, said the health of the IPOB leader is deteriorating. And of course, we saw videos yesterday where he has confirmed that he has congestive heart issues. But then yesterday, the justice in charge of the case, the judge in charge of the case refused him bail, but however approved for accelerated hearing. We're going to be talking all about this today, and as well the insecurity ravaging the Southeast at this time. Joining us to make sense of this conversation all the way from Imo State, is a human rights activist, a social commentator, and public affairs analyst. He was YPP candidate for Kigwe South, a federal constituency in Imo State. He is Comrade Kenkwo Kesando, and is also an engineer. Thank you so much for joining us, Comrade Kesando. It's nice having you here. And how is Owerri today?
Good morning, my people there. Owerri is fine. We're doing good this morning. All thanks to God.
All right.
How are you over there?
We are alive and well.
Thank you.
I just want to ask you about your impression of the trials. I mean, this issue is in court, and we do not want to, delve into the court matters itself. But then let's just stay around the issues. Your impression about these old trials of Nnamdi Kanu since the year 2020 when he was extradited back into the country. Your thoughts before we go on with further questions.
Well, like you rightly said, it's a matter in court, and I am not supposed to speak to a reasonable extent about it. But then, I feel it has taken so much time. I feel it has taken so much time, and that is why people complain in this country about how long the judicial process has been. So, I feel by now we should have had the last of this matter, and everybody should have known his or her fate by now. So personally, I'm uncomfortable that this thing has actually lingered till today. So that's just it.
All right, but as a leader of IPOB, I'm sure you must have watched that video in court yesterday where Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was saying that he wanted to actually move out of the custody of the DSS, but he is still being put there. He said he would prefer to even go to Kuje prison. But then he has been denied that, and he has continued to stay in the custody of the DSS. Your thoughts around this, your thoughts about this particular issue, the fact that he is still in the custody of the DSS?
I think it's because of the nature of this whole case. Normally, he should have been taken to Kuje by now. Yeah, that's what I felt. That's what I felt, and the reason he's being held in the DSS custody is best known to the federal government and the DSS. But I agree with him to a reasonable extent. I felt he should have been taken there. So, but like I said, only the federal government can actually state the reason they've actually kept him at the DSS custody. But for how long this matter has taken, I think he should have been taken to the prison by now, probably now come to the court from there. So nobody can state equivocally the reason behind his stay at the DSS custody.
All right. You are in the East. I mean, you are in Imo State, Owerri to be precise. How are people taking, especially the recent development where he was refused bail by the court, but then the judge ordered for an accelerated hearing of the case? How is the mood over there? Because we know that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is one man that is well respected in the Southeast.
Well, he's an Igbo man, no doubt about it. And this case has been a very huge issue around the Southeast, and one has expected that as of that yesterday, he would have been granted bail. A whole lot of persons felt he would have been granted bail because so many persons feel and strongly believe that is out of the DSS custody will bring peace to the southeast to a reasonable extent. So when the news broke yesterday, a whole lot of persons received it with mixed feelings. Although the thing about the acceleration of the 7-count charges is another good thing, so that if the court can expedite actions, so that we can put an end to this whole thing. Because I can tell you for sure, this whole issue is not really cool for us in the southeast. Yes, this is because we don't even know the real agitators and those who are even using the whole thing to perpetrate evil. Because we know they are real agitators. Yes, they are real agitators. And also, you know, in the midst of crises like this, some people will tend to use every opportunity they see to perpetrate evil. And that is the problem. And that is why, over time, we've actually begged the federal government that this issue can be solved. Whatever be the issue. I remember, was it last year or last 2 years, that highly respected leaders, that was last 2 years, highly respected leaders of the Igbo extraction went to meet the then President Muhammadu Buhari, you understand, for the unconditional release of Nnamdi. And you know those people, Balike, Amechi, Ezife, and the likes, may their souls rest in peace. And you know, the leader of that delegation was around 93 as of then, and he said he prayed to God that he doesn't leave this country in this kind of crisis. They pleaded with Mr. President, so at least grant them this last wish. But unfortunately, we all know the response the then President Muhammadu Buhari gave as regards that he doesn't want to make an interference between the executive and the judiciary. But then, when the court granted him release of bail, the federal government didn't obey that too before the last court case. So those are issues. Those are issues. One had expected that we could have had a conversation around this. There are people who will come for such a matter, no matter how big you think it is, and you need to trust the sense of reasoning and judgment of those men. You understand? So, but then it's a big problem for us, and it's a huge problem. It's a huge problem. I can tell you where I come from. Where I come from, the insecurity situation around this place is something else. Something else. So we can't just continue like this. If the release of this man is going to bring a lasting solution or peace, a lasting peace to this part of the country, why shouldn't we? It's a conversation. We're still one united house and one united family, so nobody should be treated somehow. You know, some of our brothers from the West and others who had similar cases. Everybody's fine now. Everybody's cool now. So why not? That's the way you handle this other issue. Let's also handle this. Let's also handle this so that we can be fine. Because if somebody in Oshobo is happy and someone in Yitoboma, where I come from, is not happy, I think the country is not happy. If somebody in Medjugorje is not happy and somebody from Obo here is happy, the country is not happy. I think to a reasonable extent, we should have a country where we must see ourselves as Nigerians, and if this is going to make this part happy, if this is going to make these people happy, if it's going to take us to make this sacrifice for this thing to happen, then why not we make it? So I wasn't happy when Mr. President, the then Mr. President, refused to honor the request of those highly respected Nigerians from this part of the country who came to meet him on these regards. But then we'll still have implicit confidence in the courts that they will expedite action like they've said and get this matter sorted out. It's really an issue. It's really an issue.
All right,
for us in this part.
Okay, so what you just said now is in consonance with what Nnamdi Kanu'S said, in the court yesterday, where he said there are some people that are using the name IPOB to perpetrate evil, and those cannot be called IPOB members. We are just going to take an excerpt of that particular video, and we'll come back to asking you more questions. Just stay right with us. Let's watch this video. We'll be back.
The court's also entitled to change its mind as well, depending on the strength of the argument. So we hope that they'll change their mind.
They're using it to do experiment at GSSS.
Exactly. So, There is no way we're going to allow that to happen. My rights must be respected.
It's important.
My right to fair hearing must be observed and understand that.
They brought him to Kenya into this dock and allowed him to talk with that his
You were
wife.
talking about your health condition. What exactly is wrong with you, sir?
I have
Health-wise?
congenital heart failure. Congestive heart failure is called. From the medication, you can tell. So they're basically trying to keep me alive. So when they calculate that I'm about to give up, that my heart is about to pack up, they will now say go. So when I go outside, I will die outside. That's what they're trying to do.
The medications they've been giving to you, has it not been working?
It's not working. If it's working, why would I have all these lumps underneath my...
And he has written a petition to the Nigerian Medical Association where they brought one quack doctor, somebody who is not a doctor, to treat him.
to come and try and treat.
But up to now, they have no.
They don't know what they're doing. And they know they don't know what they're doing. Or else, why would I have this?
As long as it remains in DSS custody, there won't be
There will be no trial.
So what is your application before the court? What do you want?
Is seeking for a non-custodial arrangement by the court.
You said house arrest.
Exactly. I don't mind house arrest because I'll defeat them. In this court, I'll defeat the government of Nigeria. Here, the whole world will see it. What is the treasonable felon? What is it? All these years, journalists are having treasonable treason. What is treason today? It's gone. In some way, this terrorism charge will go. I'm thinking of another capital offense that can charge me with. Maybe, I don't know, impregnating the wife of somebody. I don't know what other thing they're going to
So are
charge.
you saying you are innocent of all these charges?
The federal government, they know I'm not guilty. My only guilt is that I'm fighting for my people. And I will fight for them.
Okay, sir, last
For
question.
justice and fairness and equity everywhere.
Last question. Has your family been able to...
Anybody using IPOB to commit crime is a criminal. It's not part of this family. Our family is based on 4 cardinal points. You must be without fear before your enemies. You must speak the truth always, even if it leads to your death. You must help the poor and those who cannot help themselves, and be of good character that God may love thee. That's who we are.
So what will be your words to those out there in the East who are killing in the name of IPOB?
That they are criminals. They are criminals. They are not part of this family. We are called a family for a reason. We've come to serve our people, not to enslave them. Anybody conducting any type of activity that contravenes the welfare of our people is a criminal and must be dealt with.
All right, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu right there speaking to the issues on ground, saying anyone using the name IPOB to commit crime is a criminal and cannot be termed to be part of the IPOB family, and right there stating what the group stands for, and also saying that is not healthy at this time. He has congenital heart failure, and he has been denied to taking care of himself. He's seeking to be granted bail and as such to go take care of himself. It says he would have preferred a house arrest and all of that. But yesterday he was denied bail, but then the justice, handling that particular case, granted an accelerated hearing to the issue. We were speaking to Comrade Kanu'S Kesandu. We don't know if he is still there, so we can continue the conversation. Comrade Kesandu, are you still with us? All right, we'll try to reconnect back to him. Femi, this is one issue that has lingered for years. And like he said, some people also have talked about the fact that we had Sunday Igboho in the Southwest, and we know that now is out of the web. That the case that he was in at the time. Also, we had the Omoyele Sowore also. Now, talking about Nnamdi Kanu, who is from the Southeast, some Easterners believe that when it comes to the Southeast, the government turns the other eye. They do not want to hear anything that has to do with the Southeast. They are being marginalized. That's what many of them are saying. But then these are questions we were supposed to push to Comrade Kesandu when he comes back to us.
And yes, we will, but many persons will say as well that it depends on who you are asking. And then the context differs. The ground in which Nnamdi Kanu is being prosecuted on, he has had charges upon charges, amended charges along the way, treasonable felony, terrorism charge. At the point, the government, amended the charges against him and that it is what it is. Many persons will say, yes, Sunday Igbo was calling for, you know, a country within a country, the Yoruba nation agitation, to say, okay, give us, you know, our country, and then we'll be ready, we'll get our own military, we'll do this and do that. For Moyole Sowore, you know, his own grounds will be different as well. In fact, his own was a revolution now, for whatever it means. And then for Sunday Igbo, you know, it was, I think his trial happened in Benin, and then it was, you know, a bilateral kind of push against whatever had happened to him. He has been let off now on bail, by the way. And, but then we don't sit here to judge matters. Ours is to have conversations about these issues as well. But for whatever Nnamdi Kanu stands for, many persons want to hold him to book to say, you can't just come out now to easily say you are for peace. Anybody fomenting trouble, the name of the group in which you are the leader of, they are criminals. They don't belong to you. Many persons will take him down memory lane to many things he has said, inciting things, especially when he was outside of the country. The kind of charge he was giving to people, how people should do, how his followers should disobey the law, how he was making, you know, directives, authoritative directive, as if he was the leader, commanding leader of the entire Southeast. When people should go out, when they should not go out, when they should open market, when they should not open market. I refer to Nigerian state as a zoo. He said that, you know, how he had many followers who have attacked the people, how he placed 100 million naira bounty on Nyesom Wike's head. He has said so many things in the past. So are we saying we are having a rebirth or a born again, if I'm going to use that word, Nnamdi Kanu? You know, right there in the court yesterday, apart from this video, he said so many things as well. Some, he said it very aggressively to say, who are they? Some persons are trying to profit from this struggle, from this movement of his. And he even said maybe some persons are trying to keep him there because of their own selfish motive, because they know. He said, give me 2 minutes. That's what he said in court yesterday. If I'm out, just 2 minutes is okay. And many persons will say, 2 minutes, 2 minutes. It is what it is, but then we'll stay on the matter to continue. That's why we'll try to, you know, shift away from the real matter in court, because that will be sub judice, and we are not allowed to do that. We're a law-abiding group of people and entity here to really talk about what he said himself yesterday in court. And these, you know, it's easy to come out now and say, just let me be out. You know, that push that Kesandu talked about when some Southeasterners, I mean, their leaders visited President Muhammadu Buhari then to say maybe there should be a political solution to this, you know, instead of the legal way that is not really working. You know, everybody knows President Muhammadu Buhari's body language to this particular issue. Then let the law take its full course on the matter, so that it won't be like it will have set a precedence. Then anybody can do anyhow, and those persons' kinsmen can just approach Abuja and say, please don't be angry.
You know, yesterday after the court session, I saw some representatives from the Southeast saying the government can actually end this matter, you know, based on a ground of national, well, I'm trying to look for the exact words that was actually used yesterday, national peace. You know, withdraw the matter from court and have a conversation and, you know, negotiation with this man in question, so that there can be peace in the Southeast.
So what happened to all the persons that have innocently lost their life while he, Nnamdi Kanu, was making those inciting statements? So those statements at best at that time will be termed incited. Go against them, don't listen to them, they should not come out. Anybody that come out, I saw a video when the IPOP was, when that Monday sit down at home, sit at home order, you know, quote unquote order was given. Some children were trying to go to school. You could see the way they were punished. The way somebody was, I don't know, a particular video, somebody was trying to go from a point A to point B. and these IPOB boys, so-called IPOB boys, were laid him on the road and they were beating him with cutlass. So some persons have suffered. Now, he is saying anybody that has killed and has maimed, he didn't send them. Really? At what point did you stop sending them? At what point did you stop directly or indirectly inciting your followers, to have a go at the people who will not listen to what you are doing? He at a point, and I'm talking to history, the antecedent is there. I'm not just the one formulating this. He made himself the grand commander of the entire Southeast. He even said it yesterday, who we talk when he's
talking. Yeah,
and you wonder,
he was that confident, and we might want to wonder if Nnamdi Kanu wants to actually sit down with the leaders of the country to talk things through, have a sane conversation with these people and let them know this is what we want. This is what we want in the Southeast, instead of agitating for a republic of Biafra. What we want to
the real agitation in the first place.
If he has dropped his his agitations, if he has dropped the all we want a Biafra, or he's just saying this just to
get out of the
web he is right now. And speaking to the insightful statement and comments that he made, some people believe, most Easterners believe that if the federal government can rehabilitate terrorists in the north, can give them a second chance, can bring them back into the society, reintegrate them back into the society, saying, oh, they are repentant terrorists, they are repentant bandits. Why not do same with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? They say, what is sauce for the goose is sauce for the gander. So will
Mazi Nnamdi Kanu own up as one that needs rehabilitation? That's another angle. Will he own up to say, yes, I know they fight again, I don't catch me. Okay, me wanna go rehabilitation. Will he, those persons making those ground, they have their points to say, even people that have done dastardly things, that have taken arms against the state, you are rehabilitating them. Okay. The thing is, if that particular ground is to be set for Nnamdi Kanu, will he take that to say, yes, I am these and these, and I'm owing up, and rehabilitate me? These are the issues, but then it is what it is. We'll go on this quick break. We'll be back. It's the Morning Spring of Western Spring Television, and we are speaking to the issues. That's what we do here. We'll be back. All right, you're welcome back, and the conversation is about the matters arising about Nnamdi Kanu's trial. Now, we've been speaking with Comrade Kesanju. Comrade, are you still here with us?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm here.
Very well. We want to move away from things that has to do with the prosecution, that has to do with the process of his trial, because that will be subjudice. But to talk about the person and what he said yesterday, the personality of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Yesterday, in that video, it said anybody killing, anybody maiming doesn't represent what IPOB stands for, of which he is the leader. And in fact, there is another video where he was saying maybe there are some persons that want to keep him there perpetually because they are profiting, from the carnage going on in some part of the South, is the attacks, the killings, and he's trying to. So many persons will say, is he trying to wash his hands off some insightful statements, inciting statement of the past that he has made? Comrade, you remember Nnamdi Kanu, while he was within the shores of the country and while he was away before he was extradited from Kenya to Nigeria, had said so many things that is there, in the public space, how he gives others when people should come out, people of the Southeast should come out when they should not come out. The sit-at-home order of Mondays was there. At some point, the attacks on the Nigerian state, yes, he has his reasons to say at the initial part, when he was charged to court and then he was at his home, And then some men of the Nigerian army, the military besieged his home. He had to escape for his life, and which was time to be that he has jumped bail. But since that time, before he was brought back, he made so many insightful statements telling people, his supporters, to have a go at the Nigerian state. At the time, he even placed 100 million naira bounty on Nyesom Wike. That's the former governor of Rivers State, the minister of FCT right now, and which has led to the death of many people by his followers. Some of the things he said directly or indirectly. Now, he's saying anybody killing and attacking the people are not doing that on behalf of IPOP and that they are criminals. The question is, at what point did he stop being part of the people that are attacking the Nigerian state and even the ordinary people of the Southeast?
Well, I think those are respected leaders that I mentioned have been issued. When they met Mr. President, the then Mr. President for this case, I think they must have spoken to Nnamdi Kanu. I think they must have had a conversation with him. And I think no right-thinking person, no right-thinking Igbo man will or should be happy with the state of things in the Southeast. I can tell you. I think deep down him, he now realizes and understands that this thing cannot go through this way. So I am going to judge him by the last statement he made. That anybody killing, that people, I listened to that video, he said people he sacrificed his parents for, why will he kill them? So, and this is the reason I said what I said earlier, that we need to just get this thing done, because some criminals are not going under this whole thing because he's not out. So I don't even know where some of them are getting their orders from. Do you understand? Then he's not. They are now doing a whole lot of evil and criminality because of this. Because I'm sure if he was out, for instance, and says no to these things, so who are you going to? Who is going to be doing all these things? On whose orders or instruction will you be doing all these things? You know, the Igbo people or the Igbo nation, these people are peace-loving people. That is why it pains me so much. Like Imo State, where I come from, it's so painful that some of these things happen. I ran for election in 2023. From 2022, we were doing our campaign to 2023. At some point, the story was not cool. Do you understand? I had some of my friends, young people, because I was the youngest of all the candidates then. Some of the young people who believed in what I believed, while we go about our campaign, I know how many of them that were kidnapped during the process of this whole thing. Yes, this whole insecurity thing, it affected me directly as a person. So when I speak passionately, I tell you that I am so disturbed and worried about this. So I feel that criminals have actually found their ways into this whole thing and then trying to use it. And like, I agree with him to some extent. I feel some people are behind this thing. I remember our governor said something like this some time ago. There are some people behind this whole thing. Because I just don't believe this thing is just happening like that. No, it is not becoming so difficult for me to believe. I feel some people are actually cashing out, in quotes, with this whole insecurity, and it's worrisome. It's worrisome that people are making money out of other people's blood. I don't understand what else you call ritual or blood money. So this is just it, and it's so unfortunate. I agree with him, but it's just that it hasn't been proven, because there was a time even our governor said he was going to name some people, but unfortunately up to this moment we've not heard such thing. So even Nnamdi Kanu has stated unequivocally that he's not part of this killing, he's not in support of it. I feel we should agree with him, and if he has said this, I'm happy a whole lot of people who believe his followers out there, who believes in what he believes, who must have derailed, for instance, they should listen to what the leader just said.
All right.
And he's saying that they have a one united family, that if you're doing this thing, you're not part of them. So I think it's high time people understood this and then stop this whole menace in the society. It's really killing Southeast, and we are not known for this kind of act.
All right, and it's good and easy. Many persons will say you, just like you said, you will take him and judge him by his last comment yesterday that he's accusing himself from any act of violence. And by the way, this is what he said yesterday in that video that has gone viral, saying he condemned the violence in the zone and said anybody committing crime in the East cannot go free. I swear it. Many persons will say, okay, who is he? Is he an institution of the state to say somebody will not go free? And they are doing it because I am in the DSS custody. If I were to be outside, nobody can try this. He went on to say, I suspect that some people in government are complicit. They are making money with the insecurity. They know even Nnamdi Kanu is outside. In 2 minutes, this nonsense will stop. And according to Kanu, nobody dare speak when he is talking. I will give an order in the East. Who is the, I can't say what he said, that will counter it. By the way, he said, who is the idiot? That's what he said. That will counter it. Nobody can. I am Nnamdi Kanu. Anybody involved in any form of violence in the East, in the name of IPOB, is a goner. And they know it. Let me come out of this mess. Only 2 minutes, there will be peace in the East. Who dare talks? You know, who dare talks? Who is the idiot? Let me say it again. I will give an order in the East. Who is the idiot that will counter it? You know, many persons will say, who is Nnamdi Kanu exactly? Is he an institution? Does he have prosecutory powers? Can he punish people? Is he more Nigerian than others? Are we still talking about his influence? 2 questions here, very quickly. The first one is, you said you are taking based on his last comment. But many persons, and I'm asking you, do we just certainly forget everything he has said, everything he has done, people that have lost their lives due to his comments, just because he has turned a new leaf? That is if he has turned a new leaf. And number 2, by the time he's saying nobody should talk when he's talking, who is the idiot that will talk? Is he the leader of the entire Southeastern people?
Well, first, you should not take it away from him. He's a very courageous being, highly courageous being. And I can say this, there were people, even from the West, who made similar comments, and they had similar issues, like the Sunday bohos of the West, you understand? But I think he has been forgiven to a reasonable extent. I think he has been forgiven, and for a society that wants peace, most times, like I'm a Catholic.
I'm not sure Sunday Igboho was forgiven. He has a trial in Benin Republic.
I mean in Nigeria.
Please go ahead. Go ahead.
I mean Nigeria. I said as a Catholic, as a Christian Catholic, there's what we call when you sin, you do confession. When you confess your sin, probably you're given penance by the priest. You understand? And your sins are forgiven by God. So I think he has been in this custody for some time, and he has made this statement, and which clearly shows that I think he regrets all probably what has happened in the past, and he doesn't support killing anymore, or he doesn't support killing now. So I feel we should be judged by this statement he's making. When you say if he's the leaders of the Igbos, you will not take it away from him that he has followers. He has followers. He has people who believe in so much in what he believes too. You understand? But then that doesn't change the fact that we're still Nigerians. We're still Nigerians, and nobody's more Nigerian than another. This is the only, for now, this is the only country we can call our own. And then if you come to Imo State, we have a governor. Senator Ozodema is our governor. Alex Oti is that of Abia State, and so on and so forth. So what we're saying in effect is there are people who believe in what he's believing, and if Nnamdi Kanu says if he comes out today that he's going to put an end to the insecurity, my own and that of the take of so many Igbos is that these killings, this insecurity in Southeast has to stop. It has to stop.
All right.
That is just what we want.
Quickly, comrade.
That is what we want.
Yes, let me come in here, and because you are pressed for time, you just made an analogy of the fact that you are a Christian, you are of the Catholic faith, which is okay. If anybody asks for forgiveness, God forgives. But this thing is about the law. It's about the people. First one is, has he renounced the agitation? Is he saying those things, the real agitation of the past? Because that's where we should start from. Has he jettisoned them? Number two, has he asked for forgiveness that you are making the analogy from the Nigerian state and those that have lost their lives? Or just because he said, let me go, insecurity will die down, everybody will just get amnesia and just forget everything of the past, because that is the matter here. Or because many persons are seeing this as just him speaking for himself to escape from this prosecution.
Well, I think he's not speaking to escape from the prosecution, because if you listen to what he said where's the treasonable felony, all those cases that have been struck out, all those charges, that have been struck out. He said, okay, so it's remaining like it was 15, so it's now remaining like 7. So 8 have actually disappeared from his charge records. Do you understand? And he said he's going to win the matter. I think he's not even saying this thing for him to just be let's go like that. No, you remember it was just those elders who went to do this, but deep down him he's following the law. That's why he hired lawyers. So he wants the case to be heard, and he is so confident that he's going to get judgment and justice.
All right.
Do you understand? So what I'm saying is, why I made the analogy I made was, I'm saying this particular statement he made right now clearly shows that he's not in support of killing and insecurity in the southeast. So whatever the federal government thinks of him now,
it's not the same thing.
I think he should be let go.
But it's not the same thing as, I regret my actions of the past, I ask for forgiveness. Is it the same?
Well, no 2 days on earth are the same.
Okay.
All right, so very quickly, if you can do this in 10 seconds. With the man you saw in court yesterday, do you believe that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is ready for negotiation if he, is able to get out of this legal web that he is right now? Do you think he is ready for negotiation with the Nigerian state? He has once called Nigeria a zoo country. So do you think the man you saw yesterday in court is ready to see Nigeria as a country and also negotiate with the leaders with whatever their agitations are?
See, if he does not see Nigeria as a country to a reasonable extent, he will not hire lawyers to come and face the law here. You understand? There is a country called Nigeria. It is our country, no doubt about it, and he understands that too. So I think and feel and also strongly believe that it is high time we had this conversation. It is high time we came to this round table to discuss this issue. And I feel he will honor such conversation. Remember, like I said, it's just that it pains me so much that we've lost these 2 great Igbo men who actually went at some point to visit the former president Muhammadu Buhari on this issue. So I think this is another way to go. I call on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Yes, Mr. Tinubu should have this conversation with Nnamdi Kanu. It is possible, because Nigeria belongs to everybody. Nobody is more Nigerian than another, and we can actually it will be a great honor for us that we ended this whole thing in the time of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It will be a great honor on his part that it was in his time that we had this conversation that ended this insecurity and this trouble in the southeast. Honestly, nobody will forget him in the course of time. Right. Posterity will judge him. So I call on Mr. President. He has the capacity to do this. Let us have this conversation. Let it go on. And I am very much optimistic that Nnamdi Kanu is ready to have this conversation. I strongly feel, because I see the man I saw yesterday as a man who still wants peace. Right. He wants peace. He wants security in Southeast. He wants Southeast to come back as it used to be.
Thank you so much, Comrade Kesantu Konkwo. It is a great place to end the conversation this morning. Thank you for your take, for your submission, and for your time this morning. We wish you all the best, as you go about your daily activities today.
Thank you very much, and God bless Nigeria.
Amen. Yeah. All right, that's the conversation with Comrade Kesantu Konkwo, a former YPP candidate for Kigwe South Federal Constituency in Imo State in the last general election. He is a human rights activist, social commentator, and public affairs analyst speaking to the trials of Nnamdi Kanu, insecurity in the southeast, and matters arising from all of that. Femi,
that's right, and that's what Nnamdi Kanu said yesterday, that all it takes for him is to be released and given just 2 minutes, and everything will end. Interesting days ahead. Femi Ojo is my name, and Nigeria prosper. See you tomorrow.
And I am Evelyn Ohiola. Stay tuned for Spring Trends.